Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Jedi Alliance for the year 2017. This is going to be episode 113. As we were gone for the holiday break, we unfortunately lost one of the members of the original cast of the Star Wars trilogy, and we're going to be talking all about her today, as well as some news, so please stay with us.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Jedi Alliance.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Jedi Alliance for the year 2017. We got the crew all here. Welcome back. We hope that you had a nice Life Day celebration, because we did. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that. Welcome. I'm one of your hosts here, and it's Mark B. Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica, joined as always by the one, the only, Michael Young.
What up? How's it going down? Hey, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere at OneYoungster, which is ONEYOUNGSTA.
You leave it hanging. It's weird because everybody's like, "Do I go now? Do I go now?" Join us, the Chat Master, as joining us. Yeah, don't show that. That's showing your hand a little bit. Ms. Alexis Torres.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year.
It is the new year.
Yeah.
It's weird because we're trying to be cheery and we're trying to stay happy because today's a really somber subject that we're talking about.
I've already had to do my makeup twice. I'm not ready.
One more time before the end of the show. Yeah, just keep it with you. So before we get into our main subject of the day, how was everybody's holiday break? We were gone for 2 weeks because we're on Sundays now. We didn't coincide with when the studio was back up for the one day during the break, and we didn't come back on New Year's Day, so we've had a pretty steady break. How's it been? How was your holiday, Michael?
It was pretty cool. You know, hung out, just watched some movies, kind of laid back. I did get a chance to check out some Star Wars, you know, just watching like episode 4, parts of episode 6, episode 2, whatever, just picking and choosing little parts of Star Wars and enjoying that. And besides that, just eating some good food, because that's what it's all about. And of course, quick plug, my first New Year's and Christmas with my lovely wife, Lisa.
Yay!
That's not a bad plug.
Bam, you know, because the galaxy needs love.
The galaxy does need love, and it was actually, funnily enough, it was also the first Christmas as a married man for myself, and as a married woman for my wife as well, because we got married back in July as well. So it was very cool. We had for some reason a TIE fighter pilot just in the tree, not on top of the tree. It wasn't an ornament hanging from the tree. She one of the fellow engineers here gave me a whole bunch of toys, and there was just that. So she just took it and just put it.
It was just navigating through the forest of Endor.
Yeah, exactly. But it was really interesting just to look at it like, Christmas. I forgot that was there. And just freak out because you just see somebody from the Empire, right? Staring right back at you. But how about you, Alexis? I know you went on a trip.
I did go on a trip. I went to go see my in-laws because I got engaged past August. We are getting married this 27th.
That's right.
In August. So I got to not meet them because I've known them for quite some time, but I got to spend my holidays with them, which was nice. And we definitely did a lot of Star Wars while we were out there because my fiance's family lives, breathes, eats all of that stuff.
Wow.
Star Wars.
It's a pretty healthy diet at this time.
Yeah,
yes,
and that's we watch Die Hard and Star Wars. That's our Christmas movies. So.
Cool.
With how many or which Star Wars?
We watched 4 and then 5, but I fell asleep because of the time difference. So,
yeah.
But yes, we usually try to get through at least the originals first, especially for what happens. So.
As many as possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A friend of ours, Megan Tonjes, who has been on Guilty Movie Pleasures, go check out her episode. She's amazing. She's a wonderful
GMP
singer.
is on point too.
Yeah, GMP's a great show too. But she just watched Star Wars for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
For the very first time.
Okay.
And I saw her over this past weekend and got to talk to her about, without the nostalgia, what the series is, what the franchise is, what the little shortcomings were here, what the stuff was here, and it helped give me a little bit more of a perspective on the franchise. But now with somebody as iconic, and here we are getting into it. God. Somebody as iconic as Carrie Fisher in such an iconic role and franchise, and not to say that there haven't been strong female characters in major positions of power in cinema before, but this character of Leia Organa, Leia Skywalker, however you want to refer to her.
Yeah, Princess Leia. General Leia.
General Leia. There was a one of a kind aspect to the person behind the role and the role on the screen. And it's okay.
I have to keep
Don't
it
do
together.
it. Hold on.
Oh
Don't
my
do
God.
it.
I don't know
Do
if I
it.
can, guys. Okay.
And I wanted to ask whoever wants to go first, what your initial, if you can remember your earliest memories of Princess Leia or of Leia in general. We'll give.
I'll let Alexis go first.
Well,
so
so that you
Or
can.
do you
No,
wanna-
it's
you
okay.
need
No, you go ahead, because
Okay,
I'm
I'll
not
go.
going to be able to get through it.
I'll go
Okay.
first.
God.
Leia, I saw Star Wars first, probably on like TNT. Like I said before, they used to rerun it all the time, and she was just cool. Like I remember, she gets captured, and she wasn't even fazed by talking to her. She was like, "I smell your foul stench" or whatever. Like she wasn't fazed. She was like, "Yeah, I'm captured, but I'm not really captured. Like I'm Princess Leia." Like, and it was just cool to see her. In a position where even though danger was around, she was never scared. I guess that would be the term. And she played a role that created a strong example for women in general on film that I don't think really was around, because if someone was named Princess, they were usually some kind of damsel in distress.
Yeah.
And Carrie Fisher brought that role home where she was like, yes, I'm feminine. Yes, I'm a princess. Yes, I feel, kind of like those kind of woman intuition and things like that at times, but I am not afraid to lead the charge or take orders or give orders or jump in and shoot somebody.
Yeah,
or whatever.
just do what
I know
needs to
that
be
sounds
done.
bad, but it's TV people that are getting killed. They're not real people. So,
I mean, though that
so
does,
she was able to do it all, and then of course outside of the role and just her personality as a whole, she really was able to say, hey, these are some things that I'm dealing with, and I've dealt with them. I might deal with them forever, but they're mine, they're me, and this is my life. And like, she never really ran from it.
No.
And she
owned it.
she was real. Like,
did you see what she was laid to rest in?
Yeah, she was in a Prozac
A
pill.
giant Prozac pill as an urn. So real from day one
One.
till the end. Like there's
We love you, Leia. We love you, Carrie.
Carrie,
Like, it's
Carrie
hilarious.
Fisher is without a doubt one of the most influential people.
Yeah.
Let alone actress, Hollywood personality, this, that, just people, because her character, her performance, her everything has reached and touched so many people. And I agree.
Yeah.
One of the things that I remember, Return of the Jedi was one of the movies that I remember the earliest, and that had her kicking ass on Endor, that had her taking the giant gun to the rest of the Jabba ship, and just like, not even, since I was so young, not even taking to the fact that she was wearing a flipping metal bikini.
Well.
Like that's whatever, and that's regardless, and Disney's moving past that. So happy that they are.
Yes.
'Cause there's so much more to that character. And then starting to do the show, getting a chance to look more into the lore and the character, and the Bloodline book presents a side of Leia that we don't get to see very often, if at all, which is the politician, the mom, the wife, as well as the hero of the underground black market. Because this isn't really a spoiler, but she is considered, there are holovids that exist of her choking Jabba the Hutt, and so she is Leia the Hutt Slayer. So she already has a built-in respect from this set of people throughout the galaxy that she doesn't even have any direct contact with.
Yeah, you don't even think about that, but yeah, because Jabba had terrorized so many people. So whoever would bring him down would be like that, that group's hero. Yeah. And one thing about the metal bikini, and the thing that I like about that, or the way she was characterized, is that she never looked out of place in the metal bikini. She never looked at her place as a troop. She never looked at her place as a princess. Like, and I think that showed, like, she can be all these things. She can be one of these things, but she was always the rebellion. You know, she was always the revolution. Yeah. Or, you know, the revolution, the rebellion, and she was never out of her element, I guess you could say. And Leia was on point.
Alexis, have you had some time to compose?
Yes, I have had time to compose. I probably will lose it halfway through. But yeah, it pretty much the same goes for that, because when I first saw her, you know, I loved the fact that I saw her with a blaster in her hand. Like, that's huge for me, because I was like, oh, okay, she's trying to shoot people. That's like, as a kid, I was just like, what? that's weird. But like, she immediately, I was like, I already knew I was gonna like her. And then as obviously the movies progressed, I was like, yeah, she's my favorite. The fact that she can, even though she's supposed to be a slave and whatever, and she sat there, did a flip, and just like it was huge for me, because even though a lot of people are like, oh, she's just supposed to be this sex icon, and I'm like, no, that was the whole point, was that you can put her in this bikini and, you know, make her your slave and whatever, but like, she'll fight back, and that's how she's always been. And I love that how you actually brought up the biggest point for me was the fact that you can put her in anything and it doesn't matter. She is going to just be this warrior princess in my head.
That's what she is.
Yeah, that's exactly what she is, and that's the title that I got. And then, of course, because the fact that she made this role so iconic, I got to know more about Carrie Fisher and see her other projects and stuff, and the fact that she's, you know, a huge advocate for mental health awareness and stuff. And you know, and that to me is huge, because I suffer with anxiety and depression. She was the first for me. And the fact that she was also the first woman besides Ripley from Alien. That was like, I fight back. It doesn't matter what the situation is, I'm always going to fight, and you can't do anything about that. Hence why she is just the biggest role for me, and that she never stopped. Eventually stars after that were like Demi Lovato and Emma Watson and things started to jump on that, but Carrie Fisher was the first. And I will always keep that very dear to my heart. I love that she also doesn't change. Same thing as Leia. She's sassy and smart and all that kind of stuff. Carrie Fisher also, when she did interviews, if they said anything about the metal bikini, she's just like, yeah, well, whatever. Or like how she wanted to go. Like, my favorite story of all time was like the story of when she found out what she was going to be wearing, and then obviously because and the underwear story of her, like, why am I not wearing underwear? And
you don't wear underwear in space, Carrie.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. You know, and I love it. She was like, George. Okay, George, sure
thing, George.
And like, all right.
Yeah, and I love that that's how she wanted her obituary to be. You know, like it just speaks so many volumes. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, she's crazy. I'm like, I love that she's crazy, if you want to put it that way. And the last thing that I love was I actually got to meet her once. And it was at WonderCon in San Francisco, like the last time before they moved to LA. Her and Mark Hamill were doing autographs and stuff. So I stood in line all day. I didn't have any money, because I think that at the time they were charging money to get an autograph and a picture. I just wanted to meet her. So I stood in line. And I met her, and she you know, most people, you'll like do a handshake or something or a high five. Like, no, she was like, come here. And I got a hug from her, and there was no words. And she's like, hey, I hope you're enjoying the con. And, you know, and that was it. That was like literally it. And I was like, and it didn't matter to me, because just meeting her and just having her, just all of her happy, awesome energy, just like, it just filled me up, and that's all. I was on a high for the rest of the day, and I was like, I got to get a hug from Carrie Fisher, because I was a bawling mess. Like, that's awesome, and I will hold that close to my heart forever. And that's why, knowing what happened and everything, it hit me hard. But I know for a fact that it doesn't matter. These movies are obviously going to stand the test of time, and even little kids now, when I have my own daughter, I'm going to show her what Princess Leia is, and then, you know, she can go from there. My favorite evolution well, I say evolution even though she did it before. Yeah. Of Carrie, I'll never forget the first movie that I saw with her, where that wasn't a Star Wars movie. Yeah. Where she played another badass female role, was the Blues Brothers. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. She was just following the two guys around, just keeping an eye. She laid explosives on their apartment building. She chased them with a rocket launcher, just a giant machine gun. Just because she was an old doting love of Jake Blues, and it was just I had never seen
a character like that either.
Yeah.
And it was always my favorite part to just be like, that's Princess Leia. That's blowing my mind. But it's still kind of the same. Like, that's how I imagine happened the first time Han came back from, like, one of his, like, I'm just going to go, I'm just going to go. And then gets back and she's like, hold on, like, where have you been leaving me with this kid? Like, something like that.
Yes.
And
boy.
she has always, everything, everybody echoes each other. We all send our messages up to the galaxy.
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher will never, she'll never be gone.
Yeah.
She will. That's the benefit of this franchise and the benefit of this world that we live in is that she'll always be back. She will always be there. There will always be that comment, like the rise in listening to Prince stuff, the rise in listening to any David Bowie stuff, watching Willy Wonka again. That was rough.
God.
But like after all of the loss that we've suffered from 2016 as things that sort of kept us going, I think it's only right that we keep them going.
Yeah.
There's no reason. I don't think anybody's gonna go, well, all right, I guess nobody's talking about Carrie Fisher anymore. But like that, it's gonna be wonderful.
Yeah.
How she's going to live on.
Did you guys hear about the petition that a lot of fans, or at least female fans, are doing where they want Disney to have her as an official Disney princess and put her in the lineup? There's like a petition going around online that they're like, so I wanted to ask what you guys think, if it's, since technically Star Wars was added, not after, but you know what I mean? Like it's not,
I heard about this and I was surprised because I thought that after Disney bought Lucasfilm,
I thought
that
she
was just already kind of like inducted or whatever.
Yeah.
But then maybe I was thinking, well, maybe it's a animated thing.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
She has been animated.
She has.
So I don't. On one hand, I feel like it's not a big deal whether she is or she isn't.
Right.
Because this is going to sound weird. I feel like Princess Leia. I'm gonna get in trouble for some Disney people. I feel like I feel like Princess Leia is just a little bit above the rest of the Disney princesses.
Okay.
No,
that's fine.
like I feel like she doesn't have to be a part of that if they don't want her to, because I feel like she's a cut above.
Yeah.
But if they do, I don't know what that gives her.
It doesn't give her anything.
Yeah, it doesn't give her anything.
We ever since Star Wars became a part of Disney, she's been a Disney princess.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
People draw her in that. People like my wife yesterday was wearing a T-shirt of Leia with the other Disney princesses telling them stories about Vader at a campfire.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. Like you don't need these days. You don't need somebody to tell you that something is a thing because enough people will make it a thing. Yeah. And I do agree that she's a cut above the rest of the Disney princess, and I'm a huge Disney fan.
Yeah.
But there's something with this specifically. If we go into the nuts and bolts of it, the quote Disney princess line makes the princesses look different and more and appeal more to a young girl audience. So it changes their hair. Everybody has different hair and a different look and a different this and a different dress and maybe more sparkles here. So like she doesn't fit into that line whatsoever. No. God no.
But at least she does look different.
But that's the thing. Hair. She had all of that anyway.
Yeah.
Like if anything, Princess Leia may be the prototype for what Disney has done with princesses since the 90s.
Yeah.
Since the Disney Renaissance.
Yeah.
To give them actual substance and character. But really quickly, I wanted to point out, if you're not in our live chat, Alexis is watching our live chat.
Yeah, I was going to start.
There's one thing I wanted to point out because I saw it as I was looking through. Right now, as we were taping this, the Golden Globes are on, and Meryl Streep was awarded the Cecil B. DeMille Award this year. And apparently, during her speech, she gave a quote that Carrie Fisher once said to her, which was, "Take your broken heart and turn it into art, which
Yep.
is an amazing thing to do.
That makes sense.
And it's paid off before, and
Yeah.
I think it will continue to pay off. What are some of our folks in chat saying about our dear princess?
Well, of course, a lot of people are very saddened because they also don't know what the future holds for Leia's role.
And we
that,
can
and
talk
we'll get
about
to
that after that.
Yep, that's why I just wanted to write that in there. Red 5 Hulk said, to me, she is royalty. I'll miss you, princess, friend, sister, general. Open the Alderanian wine. Sorry, I always have a hard time because there's so many A's in there.
Yeah.
Or brandy. We drink to you. Goodbye. And a lot of people were saying that as well. Her speech. I love what Aaron Blum said, where he said her speech to George Lucas after he got the AFI Lifetime Achievement Award.
Priceless.
Funniest speech ever, and it's my favorite speech. Besides, obviously, her mental awareness ones, like those ones are awesome. But oh my god, that speech was so gold. I love it so much. A lot of people love the stories that we're talking about, and they're obviously bringing up all the other roles that she's been in as well.
The I would also highly recommend anybody to pick up audiobooks of Wishful Drinking and I forgot the other one, but it's like Leia face down with a drunk. Maybe that's Wishful Drinking, but there's another one. There's another one that's really good too. I would recommend the audiobook specifically because that's her.
Yeah, reading them.
100%
cool.
her.
I have them in my Kindle and stuff. It's nice.
It's good to have and go back and listen to and just have and that's another thing is we have her voice and her voice of reason. Like I always go back one of the and this is that was 10 years ago. When the world lost George Carlin, one of the most rational and
Extremely funny.
Extremely funny.
I love
but
it.
also
Extremely funny.
you can listen to him now 10 years, 20 years, 30 years apart from when he originally did these bits, and they still make sense, they still apply, they still fit, and I think Postcards from the Edge. Thank you, King's Portal. It's hers is going to be a voice that will be able to carry a lot of weight, to carry a lot of us through the rest of our lives, and we're going to miss her dearly. Speaking to, and this we're going to do a little bit of a transition to a newsy thing. Speaking to her role in the rest of the sequel trilogy, reportedly she has finished all of her shooting for Episode 8.
Yeah.
So unless there are rewrites, unless they need reshoots, unless they need pickups that would require her presence, that could be something where maybe we get some CG in there, at least for body doubles.
Or body double where she's
like
turned to the side.
Something
like that.
And we have the voice, we have the take recorded at least. One of the big stories that I heard is that her role in Episode 9 was supposed to be a lot bigger than her role in Episode 8, which is
breaks my heart.
Terrible.
Yeah.
And right now there are two scenes. There were two scenes that are reportedly supposed to be big ones for the character, which was reuniting with Luke, which is supposed to take place in Episode 8, and Episode 9 is a confrontation with Kylo Ren. So whether when it comes to the world of production and a family that is grieving over a lost member, that is Lucasfilm, that is Disney, that is the entire everybody at Lucasfilm, we have time. There's going to be speculation, but there is plenty of time. Don't need to go rushing and make now we got to cut everything out. No, let's and completely change the tone of the movie.
Yeah.
Do what you can.
Yeah, and just keep what you already have. Like 8 is already done. So apparently 8 is fine. I'm sure it's going to be a good movie. Disney has not struck out yet.
Yeah.
So, and then now for 9 you may have to might have to tweak some things.
Yeah.
But it's still extremely early to where you can kind of make that work depending on what happens in 8. See, we don't know what happens in 8.
Yeah.
But the story group, I trust them. I also trust them with being careful and just keeping an attention to detail with how they handle her character, especially now.
Yeah.
So I trust the story group, Lucasfilm. I know they know the seriousness and the weight that her role held. So I think they'll be fine. Whether it's whether they do like a body double, maybe shot from, the side or behind, or, something, or maybe she's in another room, or on a hollow call or something, because it's already a holoville vid, since it's already CGI, they can make things work.
Yeah.
So it'll be okay.
And it, regardless of the direction that we think the character of Kylo Ren is going, I think it might be more impactful to not give him an opportunity to talk to his mom one more time, and that gives him and the audience also an additional moment. Like this is all pure speculation, but he could come back to the light side of the Force and go, cool, I want to see mom again. I
made my mind up.
I made my mind up. Let's do this. And he's like, no, you don't.
It's like you lost that.
You can't do. You lost that ability. Like there's a lot of things that they can do. I apologize. But there's a lot. There's a lot of ways that they can go, and I mean, as we saw in Rogue One, it's entirely possible to digitally restore actors that have left us.
Yeah.
And
we got to see it.
I don't think the technology is super there yet.
I don't
but
either.
Episode 9 is 3 years away or something like that. So
it's good. It's close.
Yeah, it's kind of good enough.
It depends on
what they want to do with it.
What they want to do with it, and where the scenes where those take place are as well. Because going back to one of the earliest examples that Disney did of the full face scan was Tron Legacy, with Jeff Bridges de-aging him as Clue. So that was all in a dark environment with like bright lights, so they could make that work. Then earlier last year in Civil War, where we saw younger Tony Stark, which looked amazing, remarkable, and that had a lot of soft light, indoor light, but stuff coming from the outside, so they made that work. Tarkin was rough,
a little bit,
a little rough, because that character looked different because he was lit a certain way in Episode 4. That the entire set was not lit that way in Rogue One. So that alone is like, oh, well, of course he doesn't look the same. And then that plus the digital effect made it seem a little weird, made it seem a little off.
I mean, but they did a pretty good job, because at least the first time I watched it, I didn't even notice, to be honest. I was like, wow, that looks really good.
His first scene is solid.
Yeah.
The second scene is where it's like,
ooh.
Yeah,
because you can see the
video gaming.
It does a little bit. I didn't notice it until the second time I watched Rogue One.
It looked like Caesar from Planet of the Apes.
He kind of did.
You got
that shine, too, a little bit.
That shine, that jowl, his like top was like, no offense, Peter Cushing.
No,
don't haunt me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But the possibilities are there.
And for people that are, because I know the second that she passed, I started seeing tweets about, well, where's Star Wars? Where's Star Wars? It's like, relax.
Give them,
Star Wars is going to be okay.
Yeah.
Just be happy that she was able to share her art with us.
Dude.
And, we got hours of, her, and the great thing is she was able to come back in Episode 7. And one thing that is great is, I remember she said something somewhere, and I'm sure somebody will throw it in the chat, some YouTube video, where there was a point where she didn't know how people felt about her, about Leia, and like if that character still mattered or whatever.
Of course.
And it was great for her to see that when she came back, people still had this great love for her and that character. So I'm glad she was able to experience that, to see that at at any whatever con besides Star Wars Celebration, but any other con that she went to, and online or whatever. So I think for people worrying about the story group will handle that. Just be happy that we were able to enjoy her genius on screen. And she's still, and I know this sounds like people always say that, but in all honesty, she's still here.
She's still
go turn on Episode 4, 5, 6. Go turn on, any Blues Brothers, Episode 7, any of her audiobooks. We continue her legacy. So I think, it's fine. Don't worry about because I know there's a lot of people that are hardcore. It seems like they care more about what's going to happen in episode 9, then and at least that's how the tweets are coming off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just enjoy that we got a chance to spend some time with her.
But I also like that a good majority of normal fans and the Star Wars community were very, very lovely and sent. And even her daughter, I can't remember her name off the top of my head right now because it's all jumbled. But I love that they sent her so much support. And she even mentioned that. She's like, I've been really blessed and happy that all of you guys have been sending me love and talking to me how, that she's, changed your life whether you've met her in person or not, and how, her roles have meant something to you, and, that she's in a terrible time because obviously we know that she also lost her grandmother like a few days after. So I love that she noticed that the Star Wars community has also been very sweet to her. I mean, obviously we'll always have bad apples. It doesn't matter what fan base that you're in, but I love that there's still like a greater 80 to 90% who's been supportive, which is awesome.
And to that 10 to 20%, a wise woman once said, "Ain't nobody got time for that."
Yeah.
So,
thank you.
Billy Lord is her name.
Thank you. Yeah, because I knew it started with a B, but I didn't want to butcher it, so I was like, I'm just not going to do it. But Ian Morris,
B for butcher,
right? Ian Morris in the chat said Kylo Ren could be the one to kill her and turn even more to the dark side. I think that would be like, not to be punny, overkill on that side.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
if that was the storyline, they'll probably reel that in, or they don't really have to sort of deal with that now. They can just have him do something else to decide that he's not coming back. Or I was thinking that all these characters will be passing the torch over these 3 movies. And I was thinking that his last defining I'm bad moment would probably be, and I know people probably not going to like this, but probably Luke falling to Kylo Ren, and that would be his last, like, I've made my decision. There is no ever turning back.
And that would make sense too, because the fact that we think that, like, oh yeah, Luke's back, so he should be able to, take over, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh nope, Kylo Ren is someone you should not mess with.
But it's
like,
but
if we get to that point.
He might play like the nephew angle, and Luke might pull his punch a little bit.
No, I totally
in the wrong
understand
moment,
that.
and then
Well, I think Luke would see the benefit of what Obi-Wan's sacrifice did for him personally, as well as for their group and allowing them to escape and this, that. So it might be another thing where it's like, to quote George Lucas himself, it's like poetry. It's like they rhyme. So people would, no, they're just copying the old movie. But, there's a sort of a history repeats itself sort of a thing that we've gotten. We've got about 10 minutes left. There are a couple of other things news-wise that I want to talk about. But before we do, I want to remind everybody that we are on iTunes and we are on YouTube. If you're listening to us on iTunes, we're on YouTube. Go give us a watch. Leave us a comment. We see those a lot sooner. But if you're on YouTube, we're on iTunes, and you should definitely leave us a comment. We haven't had any comments flow through from this most recent reincarnation, and we would really appreciate it. It helps us stay up in the standings when it comes to Star Wars podcasts, and it tells the brass here that you're enjoying what you're listening to. And it's also very beneficial for us, because if you have any issues with the show or anything that you want to see improve, you make sure you leave that 5-star rating and you go, you know what, I would like to see this return. I want to see them take on this, and we'll take it into consideration. It is essentially our suggestion box, so do us a favor. But to sweeten the pot a little bit, Miss Alexis, I think we may have a contest going, do we?
Yes. So obviously, because we are a brand new, Phoenix Rising from the Ashes kind of thing, I wanted to give a special gift because, 1, Happy New Year, and 2, because, we do love you guys as fans, and we love to hear from you, whether it's just randomly ranting on about Star Wars or just, telling us, hey, you guys need to fix this. Cool, we'll work on that. So for me and the rest of our awesome panel here, we wanted to give away this amazing I'll keep it together, Mark. The Little Rebel Princess print. So I will be sending this to your house if you give us a 5-star rating, 5 or 4 stars, or any type of rating, but that would be awesome if you can give us 5 stars. Definitely leave a comment on the bottom and leave us a review and telling us what you like and everything, and then tell us your favorite Carrie Fisher story that you've heard, whether it's what we've mentioned here on the show or just something that we've never heard of, like you meeting her or you knowing a friend who met her or just whatever it was, and we will send this to the one person that we all choose as a group. So, see, check it out. I will send a picture also, so definitely
we'll
it, tweet it, retweet
we'll
it.
tweet
all
it
that good stuff.
from the Jedi Alliance Twitter account, which is Jedi Alliance Pod.
Yes.
Make sure to, if you're not following us there, to follow us there, and we'll give more details about that. We'll probably just post that clip, because that's very easy. So moving on to a little bit more, we have heard rumblings. We talked about the state of Star Wars Rebels before we went into Rogue One, and they just came back with a 2-part episode that I haven't watched yet, but it looks... Is it good?
I enjoyed it.
Okay, all right, then we'll leave it at that. But we found out that in some way, shape, or form, if you are keeping up with Rebels, you know this. This isn't a spoiler. It's been all over the place. That Obi-Wan is coming back into the picture, and there's going to be one final face-off with Darth Maul. Yes. And one of the things that we were a little surprised about is that we never heard anything from our friend James Arnold Taylor, who is the voice of Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars TV show, and anything that is Clone Wars Obi-Wan related, he did a little bit of a voiceover for The Force Awakens as well. So he for all intents and purposes has been Obi-Wan for the animated universe for quite some time.
Yes.
Cool. Great. There was Filoni talked a little bit about wanting to work on an animated project with Ewan McGregor, so that might have incorporated into a thing. But instead, we have the voice of Stephen Stanton, who is not no slouch in his own right, but he was the voice of Obi-Wan in the Disney Infinity game for when you would go through the original trilogy. He voiced Obi-Wan in that. I think he's also the voice of Tarkin on Rebels as well, and he was the Mon Calamari in Rogue One. Raddus, Admiral Raddus, as well. So he's a well-versed Star Wars voice. Does anybody find it weird that they decided to go with an older voice as opposed to somebody that the animated community is a little bit more familiar with?
I guess maybe it's because of the time period, maybe, but I was thinking that, what if it's not broke, don't fix it. I don't see why they had to bring in, well, I can't say new talent.
That's the thing. That's the thing is it's hard for somebody who has literally 6 seasons in a movie full of experience for voicing a character, and then they go, we know you could probably make him sound older, but we're gonna go with this other guy who's done it once for us. Yeah, it's a weird choice. Yeah,
it's a weird thing. I don't know. I mean, maybe I guess it's just the time period. I don't think I haven't heard any like rumors that there's any bad blood or anything that's like that.
Course,
but
no,
it just
of course
seems,
not.
It does seem weird.
Yeah, odd. Bizarre.
Or maybe it was just an oversight, but it doesn't seem like you would make an oversight. It seems like that guy's, should be in your Rolodex.
Yeah, James
to make a very
James
old
Arnold Taylor,
reference.
James Arnold Taylor. We've had him on this show before. We've had him on other shows before. He's a friend of the network. I just want to see him work more, and more reasons for him to come in. And he's not the kind of a guy to come in and complain. He loves all of the work that he's done with Star Wars. And forgive me for speaking for you, James, but like this situation just seemed very bizarre. We look forward to the performance of Stephen Stanton. It will be weird not hearing James come out of Obi-Wan, but I guess we're evolving, and we have Forrest Whitaker as Saw Gerrera,
which I was surprised. I was like, wow, okay.
It's part of the package deal at Disney now, if you're in the movie, we got you for the Lego games, we got you for Rebels, we got you for this, we got you for that.
Yeah.
Which I can't wait. I mean, this hasn't been announced, but I'm sure it's an eventuality. Lego Star Wars Rebels. Pretty stoked for that.
Awesome.
Whenever that happens.
Yeah.
And then the last little thing, quote, little thing that we want to talk about before we go is so there are rumors. Again, we're all about rumors here. We're not.
Heck yeah.
We're about dispelling rumors.
Supposedly, Woody Harrelson is in talks to play an advisor?
Yeah, a mentor.
Kind of like a mentor.
So pretty much like how his role, not his actual role, but you remember how Woody Harrelson played a mentor in Hunger Games? He's also going to be playing another mentor in Star Wars.
In the Han Solo movie, does anybody think we I mean, not to discredit Woody Harrelson at all, does anybody think we need this type of a character for a Han Solo movie?
I don't
know.
It's weird.
I like that reaction from both of you, by the way. A lot.
Alexis, how do you feel? I think I'll let you go first because I don't know.
I like it. I have mixed feels because I would like to see where Han, it's hard to put it into words because like it'd be kind of cool to see it, but I feel like I just want Han to just be what he is without having like I'm the one that taught you all your tricks. Like I don't hate it, but again, I wouldn't hate it if it happened because I would still go in with an open mind and watch it. Yeah. But I don't need it.
Yeah, I would much rather just have Han be Han.
Yep.
And see a little bit of we know we're gonna see Lando, but see some Lando, maybe meet Chewie for the first time or something like that. Nice. You know, maybe some other scoundrels, a bounty hunter or two, and then we're out. You know, it seems like a pretty go picture, guys.
I mean, but this is another thing where we trust the Star Wars camp, we trust the story team, Pablo Hidalgo, everybody who's trying to make everything like this work in the Star Wars universe and the Star Wars canon. But I kind of agree. Like, I don't think we need this character as of yet. It seems like an Oliver. I mean, at what point of his life we don't know. This seems like sort of an Oliver Twist thing where it's like, I'll show you how to be a crook. It's like we don't really need that.
But Star Drew in the chat said, if Han is Han, how will we get there? Again, I don't need like a full story. I don't mind seeing flashbacks of Woody Harrelson being a mentor and doing little things like maybe that like stuff that he picks on. I mean, I'm not asking for it to be like all flashbacks. I mean, it's just I don't know. I feel like it's a weird.
As long as it's not projected as like all right, kid, let me teach you a thing or two about swindling, or if it's somebody that Han just watches.
Yeah,
and
like that would be nice.
I guess this is how I feel. I don't want a Han origin story.
Yeah,
I don't.
Okay.
I just want to see younger Han. Just drop us in the middle of his life when he's doing something crazy.
Yeah.
Like I don't need an origin story. I think sometimes we get into trouble to make a origin story because then you remove the mystery, you remove the myth, you remove the I guess the glitz and glam from this character, and you're like, I mean. Because it can go good or bad. You know, there's been great origin stories. There's been some not so good ones. In Star Wars already.
Star Wars has a bit of a bad track record on that.
So I would like to just see Han younger. Maybe this is Han 10 years before not Rebels, Battle Before Yavin. So something like that. Maybe like 10 years before that, and he's just Han. You know,
I mean, I would like to see how he the story of him getting the Millennium Falcon. Like that would be like my major.
Like that's the thing.
Win
I figure if it's something where this is a guy that Han can't beat at every. He's sort of like the pool shark.
Yeah.
That's at the tables every night.
Yeah.
That Han watches and loses to and loses to and loses to and loses to, and then it gets.
He wins.
And then it gets to a point where it's like, man, I can only bet this. Well, I can only bet the ship. And that's where we see Han be like, all right, and then that's the type of mentor, not necessarily like, all right, great job, kid,
like under my wing kind of thing.
Like let me teach you a thing or two.
Maybe like if let's say they were at the pool hall or something like that, maybe like he'll just like, can I give you some advice, kid? Like something like that, just like little things that he'd like pick up, and maybe he tries to do it for like the next. Not
race
mission,
or
but
something.
or something, and then eventually he always comes back to that same pool hall and talks to him and tries to beat him. Yeah, like and tries to beat him, and he's just like, oh, I'm so frustrated, and he's like, fine, last one, and then like maybe something happens to Woody Harrelson's character, the mentor, and then that's all he has left is the Falcon, and that's what he keeps with him and all the advice that he learned throughout the years or months, or whatever.
This is all speculating. Like it's weird to say that we don't need a character when we don't know anything about the movie, and again, we're not discrediting Woody Harrelson, we're not discrediting Disney.
Because Woody Harrelson's dope.
I would love to see him in another movie. It'd be great. Yeah.
They have a vision for this movie that we're all excited for. We're just excited to throw our hats into the speculation ring.
Can I ask
go
you guys
for it.
a question?
Zach
from the booth. Well, I have one joke and then one question. Can his advice to Han be always shoot first, kid.
I'll be okay with that.
I'll take that.
I'll laugh. I will
I'll
laugh.
take it.
It's terrible.
See, Mark,
it's terrible.
Mark hates that
but
already.
I will laugh.
I love it. Mark already hates it. Look at his face. Give Mark's face a tight zoom right now.
No, we can't do that. But like, there would be an eye roll, but I would still like there would be a spit take if I was having
Man,
like
there
a
would
sip
be
of Coke
so
right
many
now.
people in the theater like
There's a lot of people in the chat who have also mixed reviews. But before, I know, Zach, you're going to continue with your question, but I wanted to bring up before we get into more of that, of just like how a lot of people are like, I need it. And some people are like, and also they don't even want a Han Solo movie, which again,
that's a whole nother
But Zach,
story.
your question?
Well, I just wondered if you guys thought that Woody Harrelson is too big an actor to take on a role like
mentor?
Star Wars. Because that was my biggest fear when I heard the thing is, like, I feel like he's
they wanted Kristian Bale to
distracting.
do it.
Like, Donald Glover is, like, kind of on the edge of this, but I think for the majority of the audience, like, you wouldn't bring too much baggage, just, like, the entertainment.
Well, I think...
True, but Woody Harrelson is Woody Harrelson wherever he goes, and I don't know that I could
So
forget
Donald
that
Glover.
watching...
Yes,
I would say that Atlanta and some of his.
Oh no,
other
but
stuff
just the way that you said that, he's Woody Harrelson wherever he goes. Well, everybody's everybody wherever they
Yeah,
go.
but
But
you know
I
what
think,
it-
by the time we get to the lead up and release of this movie, which is flipping 2 years from now, Donald Glover will have the award season where he won for Atlanta tonight at the Golden Globes. He'll have Spider-Man: Homecoming and any other big products that he's working on will lead him up to that. But I think he might be too big of a name. What if he's an alien? You know?
Oh my God, that'd be so cool.
If you hide him under makeup, I think it's better. It's just seeing his face, like you just think Woody Harrelson first.
It's weird.
Second.
Woody Harrelson, it's like he's an A-list star, but he's like a character actor version of an A-list star.
He's a character A-list actor.
Yeah, it's weird. It's because he's a star. Everybody, like, if you say Woody Harrelson, people be like, oh yeah, I know him. He's an actor. But he's not. It's weird. It's not like he's Tom Cruise, but he's still.
I see what you mean.
Yeah,
No, I totally get it.
It's weird. I think he can pull it off because he's like an A-list character actor. If I could, because he's like a star, but he's not like.
He's not Tom Cruise.
Yeah, like Clooney or something like that.
Yeah, where they kind of play like usually like a normal person.
Yeah,
who
they
plays
always
fantasy
play-
roles.
He still did 2 movies of
did.
Now You See Me. So,
That's also true. but I know what you mean.
Really quickly, Aaron Bloom said something very interesting
he
in
did,
chat.
yes.
He said Alec Guinness, Liam Neeson, Forrest Whitaker.
Also
all very
well-known.
well-known actors that have taken part in the Star Wars
True.
universe.
But I also
True.
have to get with the fact of what Michael said. Liam Neeson also plays kind of the same thing that Tom Cruise kind of does. You know what I mean?
Well,
like he
but
can
at
play
the-
both though.
At that time, though,
Oh,
he
yeah, no,
wasn't
he
quite
wasn't
the action
there.
hero.
Yeah, he
that
wasn't
he
taken
was.
head and taken off. Yeah,
God, it's getting worse as the episode
That
is
was good.
going.
it's going on down.
But same with
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker, because I mean that's I mean when he came onto my screen, I was like, oh my God, yeah, this works. I'm okay with this. Like it.
Yeah.
So I mean,
But they
you never
did.
know.
They covered him with all. He
Yeah,
had
they
the
did.
machine and
So maybe
But
when
also
we see
they,
him in his
they
stuff.
built up the character
They
too
did.
with Bodhi. Just like this. What is this? No, come on, give me the guy that.
Oh.
yeah.
Like instantly, you're like, oh, this is a man to be feared. And
Yeah.
and so if they give us a similar sort of thing with Woody,
Yeah.
then I'm interested. Also, the man's name is Woody.
I know.
I mean,
God.
actually, Woody kind of a Star Wars name, so I
It
guess
is.
it's fine. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But like
Several
I said,
thumbs up.
Before that, I was reading, I think Variety and a couple other places ever say that Christian Bale actually was in the running for that, and then they chose.
That's
Woody.
interesting.
And I was like, that was like the first name that came up for a little bit that was rumored, and then went to that.
Who said something?
Aaron
It is.
Blum said, and thank you for correcting me on your pronunciation, said he would be the second Cheers actor in Star Wars because John Ratzenberger had a bit part in Empire.
You know what? You know
get
what?
some
Let's
tap
do it.
dancing.
Let's go on and get this. Let's
Let's
we
get
can do that.
Fraser Crane. Can we? Let's just get
so done.
a version of Cheers that's the Cantina and have the entire cast of Cheers
Wow.
As
that's
aliens
still
and stuff?
around. Huh?
You know,
As aliens or just people?
No,
in
just
the bar?
that could work.
Norm. But it would be like
That could
N-O
work.
apostrophe
I would
R-M.
be okay with
Norm.
that.
that could work if you don't if you play it straight. That could probably work.
Like
you just
like
go
in the
into
background?
a bar and you're not like, if you don't scream cheers, but you have the people there, you could play it straight and people be like, aha. It'd be like another moment like, I get it. It's cheers. And like,
Lord have mercy.
Sometimes you want to go where people shoot you first.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
you don't have to wait around for the bullets. Just,
You.
And you groaned at me.
I did.
No.
I did.
So sad.
I didn't even try with that one.
Oh, my word, but
That's,
yeah.
that's the magic.
I think it would be harder for me if Christian Bale was the one that.
Yeah, Christian Bale, I think, is more of a like, he's kind
I
of
mean,
like,
I'm still mad he took my Batman. Okay.
he's more of a like
What?
like
Took you?
the square
Yeah.
jaw type hero type thing, and Woody is more of like he's got like a aura about him where he can play any role.
Right.
Christian Bale to me seems like he can only play the lead role.
yeah. I can see that.
Woody seems
makes
to me
sense.
like he can play different stuff.
Woody's like a Nicolas Cage to the point, and I don't mean in
No,
terms of like
that-
what. No, I mean in terms of he seems to have a lot of control over what movies he does, and he enjoys it regardless. Like no
Yeah.
matter what, he's like, you know, I'll be in a magic heist film. I'll be in a bowling movie where I don't have a hand.
Oh
sure.
yeah, I forgot about
Like,
that.
One of the best bowling movies. Well,
I
are there
was
a
like,
lot
it
of
one of
sounds
the
like there's
few
more.
bowling
Hold on,
movies
how many bowling
ever.
movies are there? But
But that's what I mean is if there's
Oh,
anything,
man.
if he, I mean, again, we're talking about Star Wars, but if he's like, yeah, this could be fun, I again, full trust.
yeah. And they got Lord Miller working on that. So
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, it should. Things in some good hands. So it should be cool.
Oh my word.
Did we have anything else from the chat? I'm sorry for taking
No,
your job from
no,
you.
no, it's fine. I appreciate it because sometimes I'm listening to you and I forget to look. But no, I do agree with Blasted Heath. The fact that Norm in Star Wars, please, yes, I think that'd be funny. Even if it was like in a different language, like just
Yeah.
knowing like what it would be really funny. And oh jeez, younglings don't do cheers today. Well, obviously,
Yeah, nobody-
but like
yeah.
it doesn't matter. It's just like with some like younger movies where like there's just jokes for just adults. Like it's fine. The kids are just kind of like, oh, that's funny in their own head, but the parents are like cackling in the background.
Coming soon, Lego Batman.
Yeah,
That's all that that's gonna
I'm
be.
so excited. But yeah, that's pretty much what everybody was talking about, and yeah, I don't know.
We've got some wonderful folk in chat. Thank you everybody for
Yeah.
joining us
Yes,
live.
yes.
I'm happy that we've gotten through to the end of it. Last time we met, we did mention reading Catalyst for today's
Oh,
episode,
don't
but
get me started.
a lot
happened.
has happened. So whether we do that next week or the week after depends on what other news has happened. We're probably going to talk more about Rebels next week as well. But we're back for the foreseeable future. If anything else happens, just make sure to find us on Twitter.
Did you want to do the scene? Did you want to talk about the scene next week?
the scene?
The fight scene.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Michael,
wanna-
please take it away. Take it
Cool.
away.
So, hello everyone. I'm sure that you
An hour in. Hi.
hello
Hi.
people
Hey.
at home. I'm sure you watch Star Wars and we love nothing but blasters and lightsabers. So I'm going to put out to you because next week I want to talk about what is your favorite fight scene in all of Star Wars. I have mine. I'm going to let you know about it next week. But Mark will bring his, Alexis will bring hers, and I hope you bring yours because we want to talk about it. And I'm pretty sure I got the best one.
Oh, stop
Well, I
it.
mean, you're showing your hand a little
I
bit too much
know.
because we already know what yours is, but you don't know what ours are.
I know.
It doesn't matter.
and
It
it's-
doesn't matter.
and it's
confidence.
only, are you saying it's only from Star Wars Rebels or
No, just
Oh
Star
no!
Wars.
Any
Oh, so
all of
all
Star
of it.
Wars.
Star Wars.
It could be prequels. It could be I guess the new era because it's
that what it's called?
after. I don't know. I just made it up right there.
Oh,
so
nice.
I guess the new era.
The new trilogy.
the new
Yeah, the new
trilogy.
trilogy.
New
Yeah.
era, new trilogy. You know,
what's gonna
or
happen?
the
It's gonna be
old,
new
original
trilogy
trilogy.
after?
It could be any of that. So
Yeah,
books,
any
books,
Star
comic
Wars.
books,
Legends.
as long as it's canon. Well, I guess legends. We could throw legends in there. All of my legends, folks. You know, yeah.
There's a lot to pull from. So
Yeah.
make sure to tune in for that episode. It's gonna get a little hot and heated. So we'll do that next week, so why don't we talk? We'll do Catalyst the week after,
Yeah.
so that we have a full amount of time. And again, if anything big happens, like unfortunately, it will have to keep getting put off because we will need an entire hour to talk about a book.
Because the fans in there have said that they're still reading Catalyst till
Wonderful.
right now. They're looking forward to it. Some people haven't picked it up yet, so we have plenty of time.
Cool.
So you have plenty of time.
We're doing Jedi Alliance book club. That's something that I want to do. I want to check back in and do a book.
Star Wars book club.
No, seriously, because I want to do. I also got the Ahsoka book over the holiday.
I heard that
so
was good.
But I can't touch it until I finish Catalyst because we promised to do Catalyst first.
Cheers.
So until next time, make sure to find your favorite fight scenes, whether it's blasters, whether it's lightsabers. But where can the folks? Let's Alexis. Let's start with you.
Alexis.
Where can the folks find you on Twitter and what are you up to presently?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So you can find me all over social media, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff at aTors890. You can find me there. I'm doing a bunch of shows on AfterBuzz, just like everybody else here on this wonderful panel. Doing Timeless on Mondays, Bob's Burgers, Yuri on Ice with this fine gentleman here.
Got a lot to talk about.
And things like that. Also, like I said, my YouTube channel is full of a bunch of stuff. I'm going to start, when I finally get my Saturdays back, doing more video game stuff. I know Mark is also streaming on Twitch. I'm also streaming on Twitch, so join us for video games right now. We're doing Destiny and then Overwatch probably a little bit later.
Nice.
Again, don't forget those iTunes reviews so you can get this awesome print, because it's going to be cool. Okay, continue, Michael.
So you can find me, of course, online at One Youngster, which is ONEYOUNGSTA. If you're on YouTube and you like to watch YouTube content, you can check me out. Just search up NerdSoul. And you can find me on Facebook, representing Jedi Alliance and all that good stuff, at That NerdSoul. I'm here, Popcorn Talk, doing Jedi Alliance with you on Sundays.
But also you got another thing on AfterBuzz, our sister network.
Yes, AfterBuzz. I have Blind Spot on Thursday.
Woo-woo.
Then you can check out Sleepy Hollow today on Sundays.
Yay!
It was a subtle change, but I saw when you're like Sleepy Hollow on Sunday.
Sleepy Hollow has an opportunity to get better.
Oh boy.
That's the good thing. So that's where you can find me at That NerdSoul or at One Youngster, and passing it on to the man Mark.
Hi everybody. I'm just gonna get
Hello,
smaller. You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. I'm here for Popcorn Talk. Not tomorrow, but next Monday we're going to be back with Video Game Movie Anatomy, which is the other show that I host here on Popcorn Talk Network. And then a whole bunch of stuff on AfterBuzz TV. It's, as Alexis mentioned, I essentially just do animation and wrestling, which is a little weird, but whatever.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. Thank you. Somebody else said it. But you can find me at Mark B. Donica doing a lot of streaming for the Rooster Team, which is our Rooster Teeth I want to say affiliate, but it's not because everything goes through the studio. But yeah, more video game streaming. We just did it on Saturday. But follow all of us here at the Popcorn Talk. And follow the show at Jedi Alliance Pod.
Yes.
But until next time, we would like to thank you for joining us on this episode of Jedi Alliance. Remember, many Bothans died to bring us this information. Farewell.
Congratulations. On behalf of the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the Schmoes Know, you are now a member of the Jedi Alliance. May the Force be with you, always.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.